Okay, today we're going to be looking at adjectives and their basic usage in sentences and also combining adjectives together. First, we'll look at the adjectives that we'll use today. 大きい、うるさい、怖い、面白い、小さい、すごい、かわいい、静か。Okay, now we'll go straight to a dialogue. 誰の猫ですか？私の猫です。ああ、そうですか。かわいいですね。はい、でもちょっと大きいです。毎日魚をたくさん食べます。You may want to pause it and try and figure out the meaning of this dialogue. Okay, now we're going to look at how we build that sentence. First of all, we start off with just the simplest form, 大きいです. Okay, we have an adjective and a verb. Big. It is big. We could be talking about anything here based on the context of our conversation. Now we're being more specific. 犬は大きいです. Okay, so we're talking about the subject here, 犬, the dog. は as for the dog. 大きいです. The dog is big. 私の犬は大きいです. Watashi meaning I, watashi no meaning my. So my dog, as for my dog, 大きいです. It's big. 鈴木さんの犬は静かです. Okay, we've substituted an adjective here. So 静か meaning quiet. So you might be able to piece together what the meaning of this sentence is. 鈴木さんの犬はうるさいです. Again, we've just substituted an adjective into the sentence. So we talk about the subject before the wa, and we describe it with the adjective before the verb. So it is an adjective. Okay, if we look at all of these adjectives here, can you distinguish them at all? Is there a common pattern? Is there something which they all have which is in common? Or what is the difference? Well, there are actually two different groups of adjectives in Japanese. The first one is the I adjectives, which are sometimes called the true adjectives, and the other one is the na adjectives, sometimes called quasi adjectives. The true adjectives are adjectives that and words that end in ai, ii, ui, or oi in English. In Japanese sounds, that would be ai, I, ui, and oi. There are some examples here. Oki has the I sound at the end. Kawaii, obviously I. Chisai, meaning the ai. And kowai, ai. Sugoi, oi. Urusai, okay, ai. And omoshiroi, oi. Now you notice that there's one line in the ai, ue, o, one line which is not in the true adjectives, and that is ending ei. Basically, true adjectives are any adjectives that end in those four endings, ai, ii, ui, or oi, and everything else is a na adjective, a quasi-adjective. For example, shizuka does not end in those endings. Neither does kirei. Okay, this is the one that ends in ei in English. Kirei. Likewise, suteki. That is only an I and ki end. And suki is also a ki ending. So that's the basic difference between a true adjective and a quasi-adjective. And that's really important when we try to combine adjectives together. Okay, genki also is one more example. Let's look at true adjectives and how we combine them. So if we wanted to say that it's big and beautiful, etc., or it's pretty and small. All right, let's have a look. The first one here. My dog is big and noisy. Now, we don't simply just say, watashi no inu wa ookii urusai desu. There's no indication, excuse me, there's no indication that you're using and in there at all. Likewise, we don't say, watashi no inu wa ookii to urusai desu. You may have already learnt that to means and, but this to is only used when we're talking about two nouns. Okay, but we're not here, we're talking about adjectives. The correct way to combine two true adjectives is to chop off the I from the first adjective and add kute. So that becomes 私の犬は大きくてうるさいです。All-key is a unique one. We're not going to go into depth with all-key, that we can use it in a different way as well. But for this purpose of showing true adjectives, where the first adjective that you use is a true adjective, we chop off the I and add kute. And let's look at some examples. You may want to pause it now and try and work out the sentence before I show it. My cat is small and cute. 私の猫は小さくてかわいいです。Yuki's dog is loud and scary. ゆきさんの犬はうるさくて怖いです。Emmy's duck is interesting and small. エミさんのアヒルは面白くて小さいです。Now let's look at the na adjectives. My dog is quiet and small. Now, we're specifically talking about the first adjective that we use being a na adjective. Okay, we know that the word for small is a true adjective. Okay, but for this purpose here, just to demonstrate how we combine a quasi with a true adjective, or quasi and quasi. The first one being a quasi. Okay, so it's not as simple as putting the two adjectives beside each other. It's also not acceptable to say shizuka to chisai desu. Okay? For quasi-adjectives, we add a de. So for example, this sentence here, my dog is quiet and small, would be 私の犬は静かで小さいです. Let's have a go at this one. My cat is wonderful, sticky, and quiet. 私の猫は素敵で静かです. Kento's older sister is pretty and interesting. ケントさんのお姉さんはきれいで面白いです. Mickey's rabbit is lively and cute. ミキさんのウサギは元気で可愛いです. We are assuming something here, that Mickey is an older person than you. Alright, I hope that helped you. Thank you very much.